Good afternoon, morning, evening, or night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 431 of the Jar Media Podcast.
431.
I said it.
4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Let's go.
4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Good.
4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
I did something. Okay, I have given up on the mullet.
You've given up on the mullet. What have you not given up on then?
What do you mean? What haven't I given up on?
If you've given up on one thing, what have you replaced that given up with?
Something not to give up on.
Like?
Well, I don't give up on a lot of things.
Okay, so what have you replaced the thing you've given up with the thing you've embraced?
Well, I've embraced many things.
Like?
It's hard to explain. It's hard to put in a little box.
How would you solve said solution then?
There's no solution.
Okay.
I'm just letting my hair go curly, if that's what you mean.
That is what I mean.
Yeah, as you can see, my hair isn't actually going into its curly form, so I'm letting it do its thing.
Can we make this like the shadow boxing episode? Like, yes, Jim gets it.
I don't need to shadow box.
Yeah, like there's a shadow and you're like,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm not going to say that. I don't want to be like Dark from my favourite anime, Death Note.
Yeah.
What's his name? Light and Dark? Is it Light and who?
You got light, you got L.
L is Light.
L for loser.
Wait, is it L and Light? Are they the two characters' names, L and Light? Or
And
is
then
it?
there's Ayanamure.
That's a different show. A better show.
I don't think so.
No.
Then there's Berserk.
Have you actually started watching
I haven't
Berserk?
started. I put it in my PC,
Yeah.
put it in my CD drive, go to open it, and it's like, sorry, can't read.
Yeah, it's a Blu-ray.
So I thought I had a Blu-ray player on my PC, but I'm gonna have to watch it on one of my idiot consoles. So was that an actual intro, or do I have to actually intro it?
Do you ever
Like,
intro
actually?
it?
Ooh.
Bro, I live for the intro.
Good afternoon, morning, evening, or night, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 341 of the Jar Media Podcast. I am James, and I'm joined by Alex and Jamie.
What? We're the number one.
Flashlight Podcast.
Yeah, or
Life.
Tenga Podcast.
or
Belief. Truth.
True Believers.
Seasoned.
Experimentations, if your mind, of Jar Media.
do you think it's rude to point?
It depends on the pointing.
Like one of these. Oi!
That's
Well,
rude.
Yeah, that's rude.
Like if I look at James and I go, oi!
No, but if you're adding an oi.
Okay,
oi
okay,
feels
no,
more
let me
rude.
take the oi away.
Okay.
Okay, this is the thing.
Yeah, that's rude.
I emote with my hands a fair bit, like in conversations with people, and I found that I worry that I come across as rude because I do point a fair bit, but it's never obviously.
You gotta learn what the politicians do,
but-
where they shift to this and they go, oi,
Oi.
oi.
I don't want to be a politician. Like my pointing's fine because it's never like rude, but I worry I am because I do point a lot.
Do an example of what you mean.
But if someone's like says something awesome, you know?
You're f***ing right on that one.
Yeah.
That's
And you're like,
like
well,
that.
look, let me do two examples for you. You and your beliefs are wrong. Now let me do this. You and your beliefs are wrong.
See, I really like the second one.
See? There's a reason they do
yeah,
that.
you come across as like a really genuine, really sort
Like
of
confident,
caring.
like I'm in control. Like
yeah,
I've
you're
got
in
my
control.
hands.
Like I should submit like 20% of my
Yearly
income,
earnings, yeah.
to you
Mhm.
for doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And you should be able to get away with committing tax fraud.
yeah,
Yeah.
And all it
Yeah.
takes is one of these.
yeah. Just pull that finger in.
Just pretend
Pull
you're
that
shooting
finger
a
in.
Glock.
Take that photo, make a gun.
Yeah,
Make a gun,
pull
pull it
the
in.
trigger.
And then put the thumb down.
Yeah.
So like get a
wait,
gun,
wait.
I am not white.
Get the gun.
get a gun,
Cock it.
cock it,
That's not
Pull the
no,
trigger.
cocking
pull the
is
trigger.
backwards.
and then you're a politician. Oi!
Hey,
No more of that.
you deserve nothing.
I deserve more.
I should have more than you for doing less.
I went to university.
and a pig. Bleep that.
I can't bleep that. It's gone. I lost the bleep sound effect.
Good. Thank. Finally, I need to go get my balaclava out.
Okay, download the sound effect of the guy from Revenge of the Sith saying "fire, fire." Put that over it.
That's an actual thing.
Fire, fire.
So before we get too deep into the episode, I want to shout out the Jar Media patrons that make the audio version of the show possible, and they get their names read out in the first or second week of each month. That's going to be next week, because we weren't organised enough this week. Thanks to this mother right here.
Fire, fire.
What have we done?
Do
you know what I've noticed recently?
Yeah?
This piece of hair is in my vision sometimes.
Wow.
That's how far I had to get before I got the snip, you know, what...
So it's like I'll be walking around and this will be doing a little jiggle on my head and it's like, damn, my hair's long. Irrelevant to the topic.
I saw a comment that was like, can't wait for Alex and James to swap round.
Yeah, there was a comment about like trading hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like
What do you mean by that?
Like The Simpsons when Homer gets snake's hair.
Oh, that's a great episode.
That is a great episode.
He
Never
gets
seen
controlled by him.
Yeah. I'm Snake now. A hind D.
Shadow Moses.
Well, I'll tell you what's like a hind D, and that's the housekeeping segment.
House D.
Hind house.
Hind house.
Hind house.
Okay.
We
Straight
round
hind.
off the conversations from the previous episode, just like Kino K did.
Jesus.
Who says, James going from, I'm an experienced man when it comes to diarrhea, to, it's a psyop, I've never had diarrhea, is the funniest stuff to me.
No. Okay, let me explain this. I've had many diarrhea times, but the current rear building psyop is not real. I say it constantly and I never get diarrhea. Sure.
You never say it. I've never heard you say it.
I say it in private. My poo might not be 100% to 100% of the time, but it's never diarrhea. It's just a little bit, dare I say, funny.
Well, if we're talking about funny, Stay Schmallow says, petition to colloquially refer to Alex's house as the diarrhea building.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of that? I think that's kind of awesome. I got
Yeah, that is
124
cool.
likes.
Ooh.
That's a
It's
few
'cause there's
likes.
an actual
That's
weird
enough
building.
likes where you got to respect. You got to take a step back and be like, that's enough likes to really think about and respect.
Yeah.
If you order a plaque online that says the rear building, put it on the front of your door. So when on all of your accounts, you don't have to put 9 or 10 or whatever, like your location. You put the rear building, Melksham,
It's just the rear
Swindon.
building. Yeah, everyone knows the rear building.
Yeah, it's just the rear building. Everyone's gonna find it.
Well, we got a dark one from Dylan8664. Hi, Jar, bit of a bummer, but I have to get this off my chest since I relapsed recently. I'd been clean for 4 years now. I hadn't even thought about using again until I watched the new Jar episode. I felt the cold sweats and headaches coming on, and I knew it was that time again. I ran upstairs into my room and opened the safe where I'd stored my last pill, the one I swore I'd never take, but I took it anyway, and the relief I had was impalpable. I then casually walked to the toilet and diarrhea splooged all the matter out of my body. Been so long since I took a laxative though, I'm ashamed to say I relapsed.
I've never had a laxative because I'm so fucking relaxed. I've never had a laxative.
Do you know what happened to me?
You haven't had a laxative, but
I've
you
got
had
a fable.
a supplement.
I've had
Suppository.
the poo, the ass capsules. Funny experience. Sticking cold things up your ass, quite amusing.
Quite nice.
It's really nice.
Quite
What were you
enjoyable.
saying, brother?
I've got a fable
Okay.
for everyone.
Like an Aesop one.
Yes.
Asoft.
Yes.
You
Aesop.
An Aesop.
Much
Aesop's
like
fable.
Much like you guys, I've never had a laxative.
I have.
Oh.
Yeah, because
Much
you,
like-
when I had my nose operation.
you were blocked up and you needed prune juice,
Prune juice isn't
No, I had prune, but I also had like actual laxatives.
poo juice.
and they didn't work,
Okay.
did they?
Poo pills. Oh, bro, it worked.
No, but I thought
Nice.
your struggle was that none of it was working until you sent it on the prune juice.
I had prune and laxative, and it was the greatest relief of my entire life.
Was it diarrhea?
Is it liquid?
It was beyond anything I could verbally describe. If I'm being
Then you
honest.
should have filmed it.
I should have filmed it, but
You
I
should
made
have
that
taken a
mistake.
picture at least.
Yeah.
You would never would have forgiven me.
No, I've
Bro, I
I've
don't
got
believe
I've got
otherwise.
an Aesop fable.
Go on,
What's
then.
an
it's-
Aesop
it's-
fable?
It's got like a warning.
You know, the
Right.
rhino. He's got the sand in his skin. You know that one, didn't you? That was always my favourite Aesop's fable.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I'm interrupting. What are you saying?
So, you guys heard of candy kittens?
Oh, those real little
Yeah.
producers, yeah.
Um,
They're like vegan sweeties.
Yeah,
Quite
they-
tasty, quite
they are, yeah.
expensive.
they're like zero sugar.
They are expensive, yeah.
Maybe it wasn't candy kittens, but it was a sweet. It was a type of sweet with zero sugar.
Yeah,
was like-
those give you the worst Rio of them all.
Well, it was 3 packs
You had three
for
of
a
them?
quid or something.
Right.
Okay,
it was some sort of deal where
There
you
was
get
absolutely no candy kittens, so they're like what a pack is.
Well, no,
£3, would've
it
been.
wasn't. I'm exaggerating certain, elements of the story, but I bought
some
3
sugar-free.
packs of sugar-free sweeties from Sainsbury's and ate all 3. Right?
How big were the packs?
They were like
Baby.
average sweetie-sized packs.
So you
we're
had
not
like a
talking mini packs. We're talking like
You had like a shit ton of.
like
processed
the
food.
classic Sainsbury's back in the day, 3 for a quid.
Yeah.
Those bags, yeah.
Yeah, that sort of size.
I know what you're saying.
And I ate all 3, as you do, when you're getting a 3-timer deal. And well, the rest is history. I sat down and read for a long time.
Did
Today
you
was
Is what I'm saying. Little did I know, it actually says on the pack of a lot of sugar-free items that are sweet. Like
Laxative
excessive consumption could cause a laxative effect.
Yep. They say that
And-
about chewing gum even.
Yeah, I think that should be like the name of the product. Because
Poo bite.
how many people read the backs of like sweets?
I do sometimes.
I mean, I think all 3 of us do, but like how many human beings do?
How many?
The average normal.
Normal.
How many normals?
Take a normal and measure the normal.
Yeah. How many normals are reading the backs of wine gums?
See, this is a good thing about statistics is everyone's normal. So you don't need everyone's opinion. You need one person's opinion because they're normal. The general public is one person and they're normal. You don't need a 1,000-person view. You've got one normal.
Once you have normal pinned, you can build out everything around it. Create the ab to the normal.
Be ab.
Yeah, ab.
What? No, carry on.
Johnny Tuxin 6281 says, whenever I'm being reminded of your ages, it always surprises me. I never expected diarrhea to be the talk of the month or a discussion on what or James's poo looks like the most. When you guys are like 25 years old, keep up the good work, poop boys.
None of us are.
25.
None of us are anywhere near 25.
We're pushing 40.
We've been around the block a few times.
Yeah.
Nah, be real. Like I'm about to turn 30. Be real. Being 30. What is that on like internet age? That's like what 50, 60.
That's
That's
in
boomer.
hospital on like end
Life
of life
support.
care.
Like a Zoomer's gonna be like that's boomer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm not at that age yet.
So I'm boomer. So what are you?
Well, I'm boomer. Now
I'm millennial.
these TikTok kids, man, they're like 10 and they get angry at us because we're too old. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
Our internet age is
Try
over.
living.
Yeah, wait till you get a job.
Yeah. Then you really just really want to not.
The Enigma really wants us to not. The Enigma 2897.
No,
Alex,
but what? Following up on that one, what do people expect a bunch of 26 and 30-year-old men to talk about on a podcast? Political problems,
Money, but grinding.
grind set.
Building your
women.
yeah. High value men, high value women.
Yeah.
High value-
Maximizing
How to get a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
your profiteroles.
Why the woke is bad.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Bugattis.
Yeah.
It's better to talk about
Yeah. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the
our poo makes us more unique and better people than the grind set of all these.
name Name one poo podcast. Name one.
I know one.
Kind of funny. Come on, Greg Miller. Come on the JARCast. See how you fare.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Who's Greg Miller?
I'm gonna back you up on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poo.
Yeah. Come on, Tristan Tate. See
Well,
how you feel.
The Enigma 2897 says, Alex, I'm begging you, please translate my typos when you read my questions. I clearly meant Jim, not Jin. Why do you always do me dirty like this? I'm sorry, like whatever you write, I'm gonna read.
Alex isn't going to put the work in for you.
If the text is wrong, I'm gonna read whatever you've written. You have plenty of time to edit, make it right.
Yeah.
Why have I got it?
We're not your QC.
If you call Jim Jin, I'm going to call him Jin. I know it's wrong, but I'm going to prove you right.
Did he spell it D-J-I-N?
No, he spelled it J-I-N.
Gin.
Shut up. Just add a D next time.
That's what I thought.
Din.
No, gin.
The J silent din.
Guys, I got a couple of things I want to mention to you.
Okay, prove it.
I got two things,
Yeah.
right? Two phenomena I got to
Okay.
ask your opinions on.
Uh-huh.
So, it feels like forever ago now, I went to go see the band TV Girl in London, right?
Who's
Right,
TV Girl?
right.
They're this
Uh-huh.
band, right?
I've
Yeah.
heard you don't actually like them.
Ooh.
In like 2014, I got into them, like this indie band, doing all this stuff, right? Using a lot of samples. That was their jam.
Right, yes.
Oh, so they don't actually make music.
2020, 2021, they go viral on TikTok, right?
Alex like TikTok music.
Yeah.
So now
yeah,
they're huge.
revisionist history alert.
Now they're huge. I go to London, I see one of their shows, and this phenomena exists, right? Something that I find kind of disturbing, kind of, I don't know, I guess my boomer nature means I don't know how to pass this. I don't know how to break this down.
Okay,
Right?
explain, elaborate.
So-
We're your
so-
therapist.
so- Yeah, so check this out, right? Imagine a band, they go viral on TikTok. When they do a live show, every single single that is like a TikTok hit, right? Every single one of those, when they play them, the crowd, they're energized. They got their phones out, they're loving it. But every time it's not a TikTok hit, they are visibly bored, uninterested, don't have their phones out. They're standing there waiting for the next TikTok hit. So you get this bizarre vibe, live show, where it's like all these like people waiting for the next TikTok hit, not even really caring about what's being played, just waiting for the trend. It was like really bizarre because I've seen them one other time before, kind of like right on the verge when they were getting all viral on TikTok and stuff, and it was like a really good small scale show. It wasn't quite this level, but seeing them this time, it was like a switch being flicked on or off. It was like, is this a TikTok one? Is this not a TikTok one? Because if it is, the crowd's there, they're engaged. If it's not, they're probably browsing
Zero
TikTok
interest.
themselves.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
to
trying to
me
find the
just
next
sounds straight up cringy.
Because that's all. Yeah, it is cringy.
It's like so-
it's
is.
already one of my like kind of icks, I guess you'd say, is like people who they go to live shows and they just record the whole thing. They have their phone.
No,
up
yeah,
like
because when
this.
you go to a live show, you're going there for the actual vibe, which is like everyone likes the band, everyone's just listening, everyone's just vibing, just chilling. Because it's like, if I go to, like, when we went to see Gorillaz, it's just like, there's a lot of songs which I had not really listened to and might not have liked, but because of the atmosphere, I'm like, yeah, this is good,
yeah.
everything about it's great. So having these like TikTok kids with that kind of vibe, it's almost, I want to say, gatekeep. I think they make the experience of that show
but
worse.
that was part of what made it so crazy, was that the actual band members themselves, especially the lead singer, he had palpable contempt for the audience. For that specific TikTok audience. He was like, they recently released this album, right? Not kind of on the same level as their previous stuff, using a lot of samples of like kind of more biblical, religious sounding sounds. It's not popping off the same way their usual older stuff that people on TikTok know. it got to that part in the show where he's like, I feel obligated to play this new stuff. I know you're not gonna like it. Blah 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 blah. I'm doing it anyway because for my own sanity. He's verbalizing this stuff.
Wow.
And then plays his new song. And everyone's just like standing there waiting for the TikTok hit to come out.
Yeah, that is sad.
Yeah, I feel
kinda-
sorry that's that. Yeah, I feel
But how do
sorry
you
for
pass that though? Like, it's 2020. Something you made 6 years ago starts trending on TikTok, getting literally hundreds of millions of plays. All this money coming in from this thing you made in a different part of your life. What do you do about that? What can you do about that?
Well, it sounds like they did the right thing.
Like by still playing their new stuff and not caving,
Yeah, they
even despite the audience reaction.
Yeah, they played their new stuff, they played the old stuff, but they verbalized their feelings. Like that is part of like I think especially a live show, like how the artist feels in that moment. Like
Yeah.
Like the fact that you picked up on it, like, gives it value.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, is like the the lead singer of TV Girl, very dry individual. Like the stuff he's bringing up, he's making jokes like, yeah, I was hanging out with my boy Harry Styles. Obviously he hasn't. He makes that joke on stage, people start cheering, acting as if Harry Styles is about to come on stage. And it's like, that's not, no, it doesn't make sense.
That makes it funnier though.
That does make it
Good
funnier,
joke.
but it's also like it's just a weird position, I feel like, for an artist to be in. Like, what are they supposed to do? Because the expectation is obviously to play the TikTok hits, because you're gonna get that crowd response, you're gonna get the audience response. But then you also made music recently, and you want to be playing your new stuff. You don't want to live in 2014 or whatever.
Yeah.
Just an absolutely bizarre phenomenon that like is quite a recent thing, you know, like like stuff
that,
going
like,
crazy on TikTok is quite a new phenomenon. Like,
it's hard to know though, like if an artist back in the day had like released albums and stuff and a few of their songs were on the radio, you know, and then people turn up to hear the radio songs, but they've got all this other stuff.
Well, like there was a jab at one point where Kate Bush had played back in the day. She'd done a show at the same venue, and he brings it up to say, oh yeah, Kate Bush did an awesome show here back here in the day. You probably know her from Stranger Things, but before that she was this amazing artist type thing, you know.
I think this isn't necessarily a new phenomenon. I think it
is just because of the context of TikTok now.
I mean, it is to a degree, but like I think it's a new thing since the start of radio. You know, but
like the TikTok thing is separate to radio though.
Choose the right audio apps for you. Which one do you want to use to listen to this?
Like
Our counterpoint here is most normal people would be like, they're on the radio doing their office job, garage, whatever. They hear this song by this person playing now. They like that song. They're like, oh, I like that song. I'm going to go to a CD shop, record shop, and buy that album because I might like more of it.
Yeah.
And that means that person's now listened to that whole album. So if they like that artist, they're going to like all their stuff. So that wouldn't happen. And from the people I've talked about from that era, that's how they did it. It was like, I like this artist.
There was an
Boom.
inherent familiarity because to consume more of like one song, it had to be encapsulated with that album instead of saving that one song. So it's definitely different in that regard.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I feel like the internet / TikTok though changes the dynamic in a way that like just the radio doesn't.
I think the radio was huge though. You know, you didn't have like dudes in fucking China.
I feel like it's more open now though.
Beethoven.
Like something trending on the radio needed to go through certain channels, whereas something trending on TikTok, I feel like it's a different parameter. You know, there's like it's not filtering beyond just what like people are like. Instead of like going through producers, radio producers, like, oh, that's the sound I like. I'm going to put that on my channel on the radio. But there's like none of that now.
I just think it's weird. And I think that is now like, this is the repercussions from the TikTok generation. Everything's going to become like that. No matter what you do.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what's his face? It's one of the Lils.
Peep, Pump.
The one that uses all the devil imagery, and he's like always controversial for using like devil imagery, even though he's gay as.
Little.
I don't think
Little Nas.
Yeah, Lil Nas X. Yeah.
No, it's Lil.
So like when the Old Town Road song, he specifically formulated that song using lyrics that would get wedged into algorithms about like driving tractors and stuff like that algorithms will pick up, promote in certain ways. It affects the art.
But that song is also fire. Just saying.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it as a critique as it. I'm just saying now that's like another variable to measure in this, where it's like, well, how do you accommodate for the people that are kind of ahead of the curve, figuring out like what algorithms are picking up and promoting? If you're like writing a song with that in mind, putting in lyrics that you know are going to get picked up on algorithms and promoted, and like maybe they will be pushed more to kids because it's talking about driving tractors and these kind of buzzwords that are going to be picked up.
It's more about riding horses, isn't it? Take my horse.
Yeah.
But why would that matter? Because I think
it is reductive to art, though.
It is.
Like, whether it's a good song or not, it's like, are you expressing yourself or chasing what makes money?
It was a weird phenomenon. Like I've seen a fair few live shows, and I've never had that where it's like such a like switch on, switch off, depending on the TikTok trend.
I think that's like a symptom of phones. Because I remember hearing about Jack White. Was doing live shows, but he had like a policy that was like, you can't take your phone in. You have to relinquish your phone on entering. And that's such an awesome idea, because it's like then you don't have the option to just like check out.
Yeah.
Or like view it through.
I give myself a rule. I allow myself one photograph. I try and condense like a live show into one photograph, because you see people who they're on FaceTime for the whole show. They're holding their phone up. Yeah, someone on FaceTime, and they're just like what are you doing?
Yeah. We're losing like an element of storytelling.
It's the most boomer take all. It's just like you're not experiencing life because you're experiencing it through your phone.
But like sometimes the telling of a story is, I mean, I'd say more times than not, telling a story is more interesting than just reliving that story through like a video.
Beat for beat, no room for interpretation, no room for anything new. Like, because there were a few of those too. Like there were a couple of moments where some Zoomer would they'd get their friend to hold their phone and then get into some kind of pose. They get their flash on and then they do some TikTok thing, record it, and then they're like, okay, that's enough of that for the TikTok. It's like, what are you doing?
It's like people don't go do things now for they like this artist. They're gonna go watch this show because I like him. It's doing everything's to do with quick TikTok algorithm. You're doing a post because that post will get engagement because it's with X TikTok artist.
It becomes about like the individual instead of the event. Yeah, it's like everyone's there for the event, but all these people are like trying to.
And on that kind of note, like this weird technology thing we're grappling with right now, I had this bizarre moment just a couple of days ago. I wanted to get a dinner reservation for 2 at this place, right? I call up, never experienced this before. It was an AI thing for a restaurant.
What do you mean by an AI thing?
For like a local, like like when you call up a EE or one of these
an automated messaging system divert you to a thing,
to divert, which I'd never experienced outside of like phone companies, maybe banks, stuff like that. But this was the first time I'd heard it for a local restaurant. So like you're not talking to a person when you're trying to make your reservation. So you say what time, you say how many people. The AI has this like awkward engagement thing, and it's like, cool, 2 people booked in for 5 o'clock. Nice. Show up at that time. The place is closed. Like, it didn't even like.
No, but did you not check when trying to find the restaurant that on the Google it'll tell you?
Yes, no, it said on Google, open, call up to make a reservation. It's an AI. You talk to the AI, make a reservation.
Yeah, this is kind of a problem with like early adoption of these technologies. You know, like
Seems
we're
way too
not
early.
there yet.
No.
We can't just like chat with ChatGPT and be like, well, that's a human.
But it's like irritating enough when it is a bank. That's already annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're in a state with banks. We shouldn't talk about that. 'Cause
But that's bad enough. But then it's like a local restaurant?
Yeah. Man, them hungry, fam.
Yeah.
Man, them hungry, fam.
That was like that was such a weird like grounding moment. Like this technology has been instituted this way and it doesn't even work. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Dude, buckle up, brother.
This is only the beginning. But
Yeah.
I do, stepping aside from the AI voicemail, we need to gatekeep TikTok. Like,
What do you mean? It's already too late, bro. Like we're boomers. It doesn't even matter.
it
what we
does.
think.
No, I know we can't do it, but it's like the TikTok era is ruining everything.
Yeah, like I walk past shops on like high streets and they've got like TikTok stickers that they
Find
put on
us
their
on
windowsill and they're
TikTok.
like, as seen on TikTok.
I'm done, man. I don't like TikTok.
No, but this war is over. We've lost.
We've lost, yeah.
We're on the losing side of this.
It's just like,
It's done.
No.
No, it is like you can go from being this obscure indie band that no one cares about to selling out a place in central London just because of something trending on TikTok.
just never, as a human being, you should never ever chase any trends. Because you've lost yourself by chasing trends.
How can you avoid it though?
I've never chased a trend in my life.
Yeah, you have.
You make it. You have this thing called free will, and you choose to chase the trend or not. You make that active
Bro,
choice.
you played Modern Warfare 2.
You're playing
Bro, I
Armoured
was a
Core right
kid.
now.
What?
You're playing Armoured Core right
didn't-
now. That's
I-
a trending topic.
I didn't buy it because of the trend. I bought it because I like mechs. Because I've watched Neon Genesis Evangelion.
There it is. There's the name drop.
I've
There
got
it
the
is.
quota. I've got the quota. That's. We're not going to get into the marketing thing. We've already argued about that today.
Marketing is a banned phrase on this.
Yeah, Neon Genesis does need to be as well.
Yeah, that needs to be banned.
But it's just like my only grasp of the TikTok community is through cars and whatnot, and I just have no motivation to even connect with any of it.
It's going to affect your space at some point, bro. It's going to
It
happen.
has. If you own any social media other than TikTok, you've already been affected.
I have, and that's but I don't
Not
try
only,
to. It's
but
like
download. Yeah, but it is inherently addictive. It's like
it's manufacturing your dopamine.
I think this is China getting back at us for the opium.
Yeah, but America didn't do that. We did.
Yeah, exactly. That it's targeted at the UK.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they've mainly got a bunch of Americans dopamined up.
Yeah, but but where do we get our entire culture now? The USA.
Stranger Things, Netflix.
Flood opium, TikTok, into America, and then it will trickle back to the UK. There's their revenge. You know, we're all on opium.
You know what's that
TikTokium.
you know what's
TikTokium.
that meme that goes around is like the that quote from Rising of Vengeance about social media. Like man,
What is it?
it's Arnold.
There's a whole speech from like a US
Senator, president.
Senator, yeah.
And he like name drops like the
Dude,
shit of like
Every
celebrity
game
gossip.
with Raiden in from the Metal Gear series just drops truth bombs about the future back then, which is now, about like our reality. It's so true. Like if we experience that
I can
stuff,
find the quote. I'll find the quote.
A dystopian nightmare, you mean?
but about like just social media being just like swamped with pointless information, so that like the actual important stuff going on in the world can happen without us batting an eye. You know, it's like if the Ukraine war isn't trending on TikTok and all the social medias, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, this 24/7 internet spew of trivia and celebrity bullshit is a quote from that game.
Yeah, but he goes on and on about like everything.
Oh, that's the villain of
Rising Revengeance, the cyborg one.
the one
the
you
big
cut
guy.
a watermelon.
Yeah,
Senator Armstrong.
yeah.
That's it.
What a
that's it.
cracking guy.
He's
What a
right.
crackhead guy.
I hate celebrity gossip, man. Can't give a f***ing shit about it, man.
But that's what like so much of
The
everything
internet
is. It's just like conversation and.
I just don't.
But like Kim Kardashian getting a divorce with Kanye West is the same level of like engagement as a war between two giant countries.
If not higher, potentially. as
Yeah,
far as
probably.
engagement. Yeah.
It's
Like
like,
we care more about that.
like America doesn't even need to stage terrorist attacks against themselves to get a point anymore. They just got to make some gossip online.
Yeah. They just have to have Kanye get sucked off.
That's
in
the crazy
Italy.
thing about like you saw the Trump mugshot, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Like that apparently is done like it raised millions of dollars for his campaign because they could sell merch with it on. It's like this new boost. Yeah, it's just a classic. No such thing as bad press.
Yeah.
But living in a cabin away from this shit, that's the ideal, man. That's all I fucking want.
I want the bunker, man.
Yeah.
I want to have like FromSoft's entire library in a bunker.
Yeah.
You know,
Keep you
and
covered
canned
for a while.
peaches.
And like every controller ever made, so that when you do one with an Xbox controller, you can do it with a dance mat, and you complete every
Yeah,
FromSoft game with loads
Mm.
of like
That's how you control the difficulty. Yeah.
Mhm.
and you'll be occupied forever. You don't need this shit.
Yeah, man. Check out of reality. Apply yourself to non-reality, I suppose. To incorrectism.
And on that note, we'll see after these incorrect messages.
No, they're correct.
No, they're not correct.
They're the one thing that's true.
Marketing doesn't work.
Jar Media shirts now, or I'm gonna hurt you. Description below.
Good afternoon, morning, evening, or night, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of the Jar Media second half of the show, where we answer Jar Media questions from the Jar Media Reddit.
Yeah, are you being serious about that?
Welcome to the second half of the show.
Try and
Brown,
do it better.
white,
Try and do
blue.
it better. Try and do it better.
Brown, white, blue. BWB.
Brown, white, blue.
BBW.
Well, I guess this is the part of the show where we head over to the Jar Media subreddit where you can ask questions for us to answer in any episode in the future. Just like Revert to Monkey did, who says, if you were setting up a saw trap tailored for each member of the cast, what would be the most fitting torture for each of you to endure? If you guys want to have a think, r/Jar Media said in response to this, for James it would be a Clockwork Orange style torture method forcing him to watch a TV screen playing time lapses of his favourite bread going off/mouldy.
Well, isn't a sword trap supposed to kill you?
No, my idea was kind of similar to that, but it was actually finishing Evangelion.
Ooh.
Or
And I would kill myself even if it was a torture device. I'd do it. Now. Imagine watching 20. You know the pain. Imagine watching 24 episodes of that in one sitting.
Yum.
Suicide.
Yum.
So you got to think of something you did back in the past, like, I want to play a game. You killed a fly when you were 10 years old, and now it's time for revenge.
Yeah.
You know?
Push Jamie in a river. That'd be mine. You almost pushed him in a river.
Yeah.
Watch Evangelion.
For Alex, what wrongs have you done?
Killed a bug that time.
You Okay, here it is. You have to take many laxatives, but not Rhea. You have to hold it in.
Force-fed Rhea tablets,
Yeah.
and you've got to last as long as you can.
You got to
before
hold
Rhea.
it, type thing.
You've got to hold it, but if you poop, then 3 saw blades from the bottom up slowly cut you in half.
My challenge, my saw trap for Jim would be you got to go 1 hour without referencing DJ Khaled.
Bring out the saw chains.
Yeah. Tell him to bring out the syringe.
Otherwise, there's some device that like tears you in two. Type
Oh,
thing.
you get your ass spread. Nice.
Like a lobster.
Oh,
And a live lobster will go up
get lobstered.
unless
Some
you can
there-
resist.
Yeah. Tell him to bring out the lobster, and then, yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
I hadn't actually referenced DJ Khaled all episode until.
Yeah, because it's all outside, isn't it, James?
No, we never mentioned DJ Khaled.
It's all
Some
outside.
information.
Something about DJ Khaled.
It's about cappuccinos.
Fearless Caramel 337 says, Bear Jar Jar, I recently learned that women make up a disproportionate amount of book readers. As a woman myself, I wonder why that is. Thoughts on this crap? Bear out.
Men are too
'cause it's
stupid to
boring.
read.
Coltrane16 replied to it saying, for men, the time that it takes to read books is taken up with more important things, like recording 8-hour podcast episodes to discuss casting choices in an upcoming comic book movie that no one will care about in a week after it comes out.
So true.
I like reading, but my problem is
I like reading.
I like reading, okay, but my problem is I can't hyper focus myself on a book. But I can, however, hyper focus on like a Wikipedia article about some general in the 1600s
Yeah, I can't focus
China.
on anything that isn't, Starfield tips and tricks.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
reading.
I like reading.
I like reading.
Bro,
But-
shut the f*** up.
I've always struggled with my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I think men's brains are like
Monkeys.
and it's
We
like
have monkey brain.
we've been provided tools, you know. Like I want to like hit a thing into another thing, you know. I want to like
You're saying there has to be a knock-on effect?
I want to like throw a big boulder, and it like goes down a hill and then makes other boulders. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Men are simple creatures.
Yeah.
Stick. It's like the stick. I love sticks.
Yeah, sticks rock.
It's like you find
That's
a good
true.
stick.
Do you remember when
That's true.
we
I
used to
saw-
have our sticks?
I've got a stick. I've
You've
got it
still
stored.
got a stick?
I've got it stored.
It's like when you go for a long walk or hike, you're gonna find a cool stick and you're gonna carry that.
No, I
shit.
saw that. There was like some kind of subreddit post that
Yeah.
was like from a woman who was like,
Yeah, I saw it.
what a dude's weird obsession with sticks. What is their problem? And I'm here like,
Yeah, it was about her husband, her like son getting a stick, and then her husband hiding it in the car. So when they got back, the kid had the
Yeah.
stick. Like I'd do that. You know, it's like digging sand on the beach. That monkey
Yeah.
brain is just like ooh. Stick.
Yeah. And if you get a sturdy stick and you can like feel the
look, shall I go get it?
Go get your stick.
get it.
Go get
Shall
the
I go
stick.
get it? You guys will instantly understand what is appealing about this
Yeah,
stick.
but I know I will.
I might already know the stick you're talking about, actually.
It's like, no, do you know what's a good thing though? Gaius finds good sticks. He found this
Yeah, I
stick
can
where
believe
it was a part of a root. So at the top of it kind of curves in, and it has this root here, and it's really well curved, and it's like a nice sturdy one. So it's like when you throw it, you feel the way, and it goes.
Yeah.
And it's like, Gaius, you understand? You know the good sticks. I'm proud of you.
Something about like throwing a stick. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's discuss this. Oh, that is a really.
Look at that. Look
No,
how
the
satisfying that
nice
is.
thing here is you can see there that the cut there and
It's
where
clean.
the wood grain is very, very nice.
It's been in there for years.
Is it smooth? Can I rub
Let Jim have a go. Let Jim have a go.
Can I
You know,
rub the top?
I know that's good to feel.
Mhm.
It's like the perfect like girth as well. The length is very, very nice. It's solid.
I think it's why can I just grip it a minute?
Yeah, grip it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I think it's why like knights existed, you know? Because like a sword. Oh. Can you imagine like being a knight back in the day and being like, this
Yeah.
is your sword, and then holding
your
that
stick.
and being like, Well, that was before nights. That was like old school.
I think it is just.
Yeah.
There is just it's like it doesn't matter even if you're in a horrible war zone.
Yeah.
And
you see a stick, you're going for the stick.
And I know the thing is, if someone else sees you get the stick, they're gonna be like, I understand.
Yeah.
It's
and
a
they'll
language.
kill you for the stick.
Yeah, there's a language beyond. Like, so we'll never be able to explain, but you get it. Everyone else listening, they can see this, and they're like, well, the men watching.
Yeah.
No, they can see this, and they know that's a good stick.
If you are listening, either go on the video or just imagine the best, most satisfying
It's almost
stick.
a perfect stick, but
Yeah.
I have a preference to sticks. I like the ones that like have been part of a woot at some point, so they have the intertwining parts, because that's like
I get you.
it's like a club. You've got that heavier, meaty bit at the end, and when you throw that, it goes. And it's like when you want to smash something or like hit it against something, the weight is perfect. But this is more like a slender build. This is like a dexterity, This is like you know your
dex build. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do like a more heavier hitting stick, but this is a nice stick. The only criticism, which doesn't take away from it, is the fact that if it was like that much longer, I think it'd be perfect.
Yeah, I get you.
Just because, and it's a good thing about having a dog is they find a variety of sticks, and sometimes they come across a gold mine, and those sticks, I almost become sentimental to them, because when Geist gets the stick and he gets a good one, I'm like, Geist, don't lose this one, please. That's a good stick.
You need that one.
Yeah, and he doesn't chew them up, because with dogs, it's like dogs know when a stick is
Prime.
No, it's like when they're bad and they're too soft, they tear it apart as if it's not worthy, so they destroy it. When it's a good one, a good dog knows not to destroy it, because they'll play fetch with it and whatnot.
Yeah, keep that stick.
It's a good stick.
Yeah.
It's a good stick. I'm glad you showed me your stick.
Yeah, I'm glad I showed you guys as well. Well, Loose Donut 3708 has another kind of controversial one for us. Who is the most ticklish out of the three? Or if you don't
James.
like that question, how about who's the most squeamish? Okay,
James.
bye, love you, bye, bebe.
Okay, I'm not squeamish
Better.
when it comes to like bodily harm.
Really? Well, how about this then? Everyone put their arm up, and the stick goes in the armpit. There you go. You tickle me with the stick in the armpit.
No, Alex is the least ticklish. I already
Go
know
on,
the answer.
Try and tickle,
Yeah, it's
try and
already
tickle
me.
me with the. Try and tickle me with it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Have you had your fill? Because
Yeah,
I
you're
got to
not
do it back now.
No.
Now you got to put your arm up, and I do it back. Now you got to do it to Jim, and Jim do it back.
No, because I'm almost as bad as I might be as bad
Come
as
on,
James.
you've got to show. You got to prove it.
I'm terribly ticklish. It's my one weakness.
Now it's Jim's turn. That's the only.
What against me?
Yeah.
on James.
That's the only fairity.
No, because the truth is, put your arm up. Put your arm up. The truth is, it's not the power in the armpit. It's when you get that move your hand. It's this spot right here.
That does nothing.
No, my weak spot isn't here. It's here. It's this like rib cage area. Fuck that. I hate it.
I am a very ticklish guy.
I'm incredibly ticklish, and I get like aggressive.
Yeah, I have tried to tickle you, and you instantly go to like fight or survive.
Yeah,
Fight or fight.
and no, I hate
just
it.
but if I get tickled, I get overwhelmed by tickling, so I'm like on the floor, just like dead, just overwhelmed.
But it
with
doesn't
tickle.
make me laugh. It makes me like scream.
It makes me laugh. I fucking hate it because it's like the one weakness. It's like getting an argument with someone. If they tickle you, they win. It's like that's always there.
But how do you win against someone like me who isn't really ticklish?
Beat the shit, fight you, actually fight you.
Okay.
Yeah,
What is the smell of it?
smoke it.
Oh, I'd love to, bro.
Oh, imagine a stogie this big.
Yeah. Well, that's my dream.
God,
Lamati.
do you know staying on the subject of sticks? Obviously, as kids, it would be like, oh, it's a gun. Pew pew. So you just,
Or a wand from.
yeah, and it's just you just want
Or
to
a
like put it
lightsaber?
in your like holder, your little gunslinger
Yeah,
holder.
yeah.
And I think that's a factor you've got to consider when picking your stick. Because if you can't like put it on your back and like have it like, like
It's got to
guts.
represent something.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think that's a good like pocket
stogie.
supreme. Yeah.
Yeah, Lamati says, hi gamers.
Hello.
Since you asked in the last episode what Jarlings do for a job, I work for a big boy architecture firm in London doing interior architecture and design for offices for some huge companies. I'm still very early on in my career, and I've been thinking about something a lot recently, which I'd be interested on your take on. When I was younger, my parents always encouraged me to pursue a career that was employable and stable, as opposed to more creative industries that are very hard to get into. I can't help but feel like now I have a career that others may deem as successful, that I wish they'd encourage me to take a risk in something I would truly enjoy. But at the same time, if I'd done that and failed, I'd probably have the opposite opinion. I don't know if any of you are considering having kids in the future, but I wonder where you would stand on this, if you think it's better to encourage a stable career or something they are passionate about, even if it's incredibly hard to get into. Also, if there's any other perhaps controversial parenting opinions you may have.
You have a job. Nothing's preventing you from exploring that creative side in your spare time. Nothing is. The only thing that's stopping it is you. You can always do it. You might not make it a career, but if you're pursuing an artistic, creative thing, you can do it, and you should do it. It's a great thing to do.
I'd lay the cards out for this hypothetical child and be like, you basically have a choice. You can either chase this thing that might not work out, but you might be happier, or you just double down on the thing you know will provide for you.
So, speaking from my own experience, the concept of jobs and anything to do with education and early adult life, there was no even discussion from my parents about it. There was no guidance. There was no, you could do this, you shouldn't do that. I was never told anything. So I basically just followed what I had an interest in, and I learned what I want to do through that. Naturally, that's not the way you should do it. But I think it's good to make a kid aware of the real world and, and money and salary and career progression. But at the same time, you should never make them limit themselves and their passions and interests in the complete pursuit of a career. Because ultimately, if you're not happy, doesn't matter how much you're paid, you're not happy.
You should prioritize your happiness, yeah.
Yeah, and I've gone into careers that I would have had I had tied to my passion, tied to cars, and they made me fucking depressed. They made me miserable, and guess what? I left them, and was happy as a result. Yeah. And I did a change later in life, where I've gone back to more mechanical stuff, and I'm significantly happier now because it's now something I do want to do. But you should always prioritize a creative thing. If you have a creative streak, make sure to satisfy it, because you won't be happy about it.
Yeah, where that passion lies. What do you think, bro?
I think there's no problem with struggling. You might be uncomfortable in certain periods of your life when you're doing one thing, but we're at this point in humanity's progression where we have such a luxury of just being able to do various things.
Such a wide variety, yeah.
And late stage being able to just be like, this isn't doing it for me. I'm going to shift into another path. And then you do that and just go on that journey. If you're fixated on having your Bugatti. And your mansion, then do try. But for the rest of us, it's more about living in that moment instead of chasing the thing that you maybe one day will be able to achieve.
I think with all things, it's you need a healthy balance. No, focusing on your career is not a bad thing, because if you are very not career driven, but dream driven of I want to be in this position, that's fine. But if that's all you've got and then you get there, what have you got? If you've sacrificed your passions, your hobbies and everything for the pursuit of that one thing.
Yeah.
And when you've got nothing, it's you've lost all the interest you had, so it's getting back in isn't easy. And then you find yourself with nothing.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
No, I totally agree with you on this one.
Yeah.
And I think one thing I say with all creative pursuits, you can't focus on if it's going to make money or not.
Yeah.
Like my creative pursuit does not make any money and it's never going to. But it's still something I absolutely love doing, so I'm going to keep doing it because I like doing it.
100%. Yeah. It's about like it's creating for the sake of creating, not creating so that you get something.
Yeah.
You know? Or even if the thing that you get is just some sort of satisfaction that you chase that thing that you care so much about.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But it's like you're able to do that because you're in a position where you've got a job.
Yeah, I've got financial stability, so it allows me being able to funnel some part of my earnings and whatnot into the creative thing I have going on. But it doesn't matter what your creative thing is. If it's something if you like, old episodes of like The Office or something like that. If there's some weird niche thing you enjoy, you can like devote a little community to that by just putting in like time and research and like archiving stuff, magazines. Doesn't matter what it is, you can always do it in your spare time.
Like, what was it? I was in the car with someone and there was like the radio was on and they were talking about the man who is like the #1 expert on aging denim. That was his thing. That's his whole niche. It's just like he's dedicated his life to just like the best type of aged denim. He's just figured out how to do that.
He's gooned on it. That's a goon, and I fucking respect it.
Like,
That's cool.
Yeah. That's one of the best things about humanity to me. Every single niche is like filled by someone.
Be a niche guy.
Yeah, there's someone who's passionate about this or that.
Something you can guarantee as well. If you are interested in something, you are not the only person.
Mm-hmm.
There will be someone else.
Yeah.
At least one other person will be like a kindred spirit.
Yeah.
With
it's the best and worst thing about the internet,
Yeah.
Because you can find your community of other gooners.
And then you can find out they're all massive twats.
Yeah.
One thing is just like with being a boy of weird dopamine and having like that weird dopamine from gooning COD as a kid. Nothing gives me more dopamine than connecting with someone who's the niche weirdo like me. That's like a nuclear bomb going off in my head. That's like, ooh, you want to talk about spoilers on these cards? Ooh. It's great, and that feeling is what will motivate you to indulge in that passion more, and your little creative project you got going on. And you should always do that because that's cool, and dopamine is good.
Well, we got triple left before we round off this episode. Jay Stereo says, "Hey Jar boys, you know how you were briefly discussing hot and cold takes a few casts back? Well, one comes up on my Twitter feed recently that's especially hot. Apparently 11 years ago, James Gunn, the current co-head for DC movies, revealed he does not really like Tim Burton's Batman, and he also has some issues with Nolan Batman as well. Certain fans are naturally using these tweets as evidence that he is not fit for the job, even though his stance may have changed at the time it took for the maniacs to dig it up, given the enthusiasm he displays for DC, Slate post-EU, and indeed his forthcoming Superman movie. What do you guys make of this, Bebe?"
Cool.
But yeah,
I
kind of agree with James Gunn. Like I like the Tim Burton Batman movies as movies. They're fun.
I couldn't even say anything strong because I haven't seen them since I was a little kid.
I rewatched, not Batman Returns, but just Batman.
Yeah,
I watched that
the 84 one.
semi recently, like a few years ago.
Who was the main Batman in those movies?
Fucking Vulture, Michael Keaton.
Birdman, yeah,
Okay,
Michael Keaton.
Keaton.
And it's like a good movie. It's goofy and fun, but it's not like Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It's not truly Batman
thing.
And Christopher Nolan's Batman
Is absolutely not Batman.
It's lacking in significant aspects. My dream is to get like a Batman Arkham sort of vibe from a Batman movie. You know, like embrace the like goofy the dumbest shit, but do it like in your stride so that
It's tough to do with a serious tone because obviously they like dabble in that with the Batman and Robin stuff. But that's like a little bit too goofy, a little bit too pulpy.
That's taking it to like Deadpool sort of. Like,
even beyond that.
Yeah, it's like you need to be aware of what you have with Batman. Like, even with the Batman, the latest one, it's like the fact of the matter is this billionaire is dressing up as a bat.
Yeah, that's the thing about that
goofy,
one is that movie. There's no goofy aspect of that to like break it. It's all really edgy. It's grimy. It's it's that. And to me,
it should be like goofy. Like
the concept
grimy.
is goofy. Like Joker's a goofy character.
Yeah,
that's how it is, and that movie needs a little bit of goofiness. It needs a silly little snowboarding, surfing Joker.
Yeah, it's actually like quite a unique challenge for that character.
But like even that movie, like more than Tim Burton or Christopher Nolan. Like Christopher Nolan took it too realistic.
Yeah, too
unquote.
not stylistic enough. It was very.
Well, my thing with those is like the Dark Knight holds up, but the other ones around it don't as much.
Yeah. But even in The Dark Knight, it's this city that's just an ordinary city. Why would someone be pushed to this ridiculous like length? Everything needs to be exaggerated.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get that.
And that's what I want.
So personally, it's like I love Arkham Asylum. I do think it's one of the best, imaginations of Batman to me. But the recent Batman is like my Batman. Because it's like he's very much more of like this edgy younger guy who's like mechanically like muscle
Got the cool bug.
Yeah, that
Also,
resonates
they
with
place him in this city that is like just beyond like ridiculously evil,
beyond corrupt, beyond
like it smells of just stinky
corruption.
poop.
Yeah, so it makes sense why he's a bit angry.
Yeah,
and in that stage of his Batman.
But there is this bizarre phenomenon, right? Especially on Twitter. There's this whole growing sect of like James Gunn haters who are like, they despise him because they see him as like, oh, he said that The Flash was the best comic book movie ever made. And it's like, you realize he's being bureaucratic with that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just wants to make his Superman movie.
Yeah,
He doesn't care about The Flash. That was already done and dusted before he's even in that position. So why are you holding him to that? And it's also like, cancelling him before Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out and like all these old edgy tweets when he was making trauma films. It just seems like you're just trying to find something to hate on him for.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I kind of like that more where it's like, he's just giving it, like, people get so conflated with the stakes of things, Yeah. Like people acting as if this is like this raging political take that's like shocking and you should never see him the same way after he said this, when it's like, he just gave his opinion on the Tim Burton and the Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
Yeah, from like
it's not
80s.
high stakes. It's an opinion on a movie from over a decade ago. He's a different person now. He has done so much. He has changed so much. Why are you holding him to this? Why are you using that as if that's evidence for anything?
But also, like, that's the whole point, He was giving his opinion on, like, how someone made a movie about a character he likes. If I do that, it's no big deal. But if I made a movie on it, then it's like, how dare you?
To me, it was just more of a reminder of like, oh man, like, people were just way more flagrant back then, 10 years ago. Like, people, they didn't care about what they were saying.
Yeah,
the hot takes they were putting out, it didn't matter.
There was no thought behind, like, can I say this or can I not?
You know what? I've got an idea. I think everyone should do it or be involved in it, and it's the yearly cleanse.
I think that's what he does now, is like after a certain amount of time, it just purges the whole Twitter account, resets it.
Yeah, no, honestly, reset shit.
Yeah.
If you're not posting anything actually valuable, just fuck it off every year. I would. I have.
What is there to lose is like more than what there is to gain. So you might as well just reset it every few months. Like, why? Like, what? So you have Snyder fans like screenshotting your like out of context, like totally bad faith interpretation of your opinion on a movie. Like, what? It's so insane to me.
Mm.
Like, why do you care that deeply?
But
What is on the line for you? Like, why do you care that? Like, I
No, this is what I mean. These people have no stress or anxiety in life. So they're like, oh, I need something.
That's what's in my mind.
They're
It's like,
looking for something to
in my
stress
mind,
about.
like, no one owns these characters, right?
Mhm.
Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, any of it. It's just like we have all these examples of different interpretations of it. Yeah, we got the Zack Snyder. We're getting this James Gunn one that's coming out. We've had the Richard Donner ones. We've had all sorts of interpretations.
Yeah.
What is the matter? What, just because he talked shit about it 10 years ago? Okay.
But like my opinions, everyone, I can say this because like my opinions on movies have changed
Yeah.
from back in the day. And now I can look at those same movies and be like, oh wow, that actually sucks. Or that is awesome. You know? And it whether his opinion has changed or not doesn't matter, but the fact that it can change, like why hold something that someone said that amount of time ago to such a degree?
Yeah, it's nuts. It's so
crazy.
terminally online, just like ridiculous. Well, speaking on that, Aussie Eric says this. Thoughts on the circulating rumours of the next Halo game being a complete reboot? So,
What rumors are these?
Ryan McCaffrey tweeted semi-recently saying something along the lines of, basically, the state of this franchise is so dire, I'm pretty sure the only way to fix it is another reboot.
That's not a rumor. That's actually someone saying, this is my opinion.
Ryan McCaffrey, yeah.
That
He's
just
a
sounds like
journalist,
someone's.
That's his opinion.
That just sounds like someone's
Well,
opinion.
it started this whole like drama circle, like
No, to be fair, the fucking Halo 4 was a reboot.
Well, I quote tweeted it on my secret Twitter, being like, "Yes, the 4th reboot will fix it."
Yeah, Halo Infinite was absolutely a fucking reboot.
That was the 3rd reboot.
Yeah, they don't need it. No, the franchise is fucking dead. Let it die. You've got three of the single best first-person shooter games that have aged perfectly and are perfectly playable right now. All the rest of them, you play those 3 and you have a good time. You don't need anything else.
Okay, so-
Let IPs die. Move on.
So picture it this way, then, right? What your Microsoft? What do you do with it? Is that the answer? You just leave it 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah, no, you leave it.
You just leave it.
No, kill it.
It's already killed, bro.
It's
It
it's
can't
dead.
be
I'm
killed
talking
and-
take every single Halo game off. Get rid.
Nuke 4, 5 Infinite off the internet, off every store. Fuck your DRM.
Because
We're deleting them.
I
You
get
can
into
fuck
this,
off.
I get into this cringy fantasy land, right, where it's like, imagine it, Microsoft, they didn't touch Halo after Halo Reach. They just leave it. They let 10 years go by. In that 10 years, they had this team in the background working on something, and it's ready when it's ready. Then they announce something, and then it's like,
They do a teaser with like just some sands, and then it's just blow me away. Yeah, and then it's like that's
no, because that was something, and because I replayed Halo Reach, I was just thinking about Halo as a franchise. It is the most early 2000s thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got a guy in his like motorbike outfit with the heavy rock playing, with all this goofy shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like insane thinking about now, like the way that all went.
Yeah. Look at how they massacred my boy.
They
Look
massacred
what
that
they
boy.
did to my boy.
It's like, no, they just didn't get fucking Halo. They don't get it. They never got it.
They massacred my boy.
But honestly, that is if they'd have just wait past the 80s trend, wait past the 90s trend, wait for that 2000s trend. Drop a Halo game.
Yep.
Suddenly TikTok fame.
Whereas now I feel like they're kind of cornered. They're trapped. How do you reboot it for the 4th time? How do you do that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you actually do that?
The only logical thing is Chief gone. This needs to be like an ODST where it's in the because the world is still interesting. The world Halo 3.
I think they've ruined it, man. Like,
No,
what
no,
is left?
They
in
have
that world?
ruined it.
The Halo 3. No, but they can still go back to the humanity's first contact wars with the Covenant.
Well, it's like
We're not
I still
talking
follow
Halo
like all
1.
the Halo YouTube channels, right? And a recent thing was a book about what the Arbiter was doing during Halo Infinite has just come out, and it's like, fuck you guys, fuck
Yeah,
you.
I don't care.
Yeah, like who actually cares? It's such a
I-
minute.
The stakes were so low since Halo 5.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Honestly,
You've killed the universe.
Yeah.
you need OG Covenant, and you need just a single story on a squad like Halo Reach, a standalone experience that does nothing but add like interesting stuff to the worlds, and the lore of certain things. You can do so much of that. There's a lot of stuff that they can work on, but they're just trying to stick with the icon of Halo being Chief, and they're trying to forge a narrative with him when he doesn't need one. He hasn't needed one since Halo 3.
He's had his.
Yeah, that's his. And it finishes perfectly.
Well, I feel like I think they could have done like 3 sequels to Halo 3 with Master Chief as the main character and done it well, but their approach was not. That's not how you do it.
No.
Humanizing him, making it all about this like loadout systems and all this like crazy shit. Like, nah,
But
you
also,
don't understand what you're even making.
Like, ID Software managed to reboot fucking Doom with 2 great games. And they really were working with fucking nothing, but they managed to do it because they understood the DNA of Doom.
They modernized it, yeah.
Yeah, and sure, they've got all these characters, but they've still got Doom.
That's my
They
crazy
didn't do
thing.
that.
In playing Halo Reach again, right? Like every single conclusion they could have taken away from that, they took all the wrong ones. Oh, let's double down on armor abilities and loadouts.
yeah, the stuff that people didn't like.
The
from
stuff
Reach.
we've already had in spades and experimented with for years, and everyone knows the ins and outs of.
When all it needed to be was just a bare bones multiplayer. That's all they need to go for, not all the armor abilities. They just didn't get it. They didn't get it.
I think it's murdered. I genuinely think it's murdered now. I don't know what they
Yeah,
could possibly... it's dead.
The IP means nothing.
It means nothing, yeah.
The Halo fans
They've
aren't
held
going to
it-
like it. Nobody's going to like it.
They've held it longer than Bungie held it, the IP. Like 343 have held it longer.
Wow.
And like anyone who's like 13, 14 now, Halo's not even in their periphery.
I think that
they don't care.
The
about
world has advanced past Halo.
it. Yeah.
So trying to bring it, dragging that carcass, that fucking coffin,
Yeah.
to the modern age, in the TikTok age, where the attention span is shit, everything has to be microtransactions. You're just defiling that corpse. You're disrespecting.
It didn't need
the
to be that
legend.
way, but
No.
what they have chosen to do with it has made it that way.
James was right all along.
I've said this
Saying
before
for a
Halo
long
Infinite,
time.
man. You just gotta let it die. Like I've seen them massacre my boy. I've seen them massacre COD. I've seen them massacre like Forza.
That's the difference, though, is that like COD, like the player base is still there.
No, but this
They
new
still be
generation,
playing
no,
it.
but
They still be going.
But there's so many people now from that era just like, man,
The
this
thing
ain't
is,
COD.
COD is actually faithful to what it was.
Not really.
I mean, it is.
To a certain...
And now that we're adults, we can be like, oh, this is bullshit.
yeah, it's
know?
fucking crap.
Yeah.
But they still ruined it. They still defiled that corpse.
Yeah, they're still defiling it, but it's more like...
So like in a different way.
It's
They're
on life
defiling it in a
support.
way that Microsoft could be defiling Halo right now.
Yeah.
Like I really
Yeah.
think they could have kept it alive through spin-offs. I really think they could have done that easily. Reusing assets, just doing the ODST type thing. I think a lot of people would have been chill and happy with that. But they couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's utterly pathetic and embarrassing. But let's end on this
But
one.
that just comes down to a capitalist thing of they need that launch for fiscal year. And it's the same with EA. Mass Effect did it with Andromeda.
That's what's even crazier,
God,
though, is
so
that they were
fucking-
fiscally supposed to launch within the launch of the Xbox One
No,
X, right?
The Series X.
But they missed it
Yeah.
by a full year.
Yeah.
And even then, it
They've
was
done
still
such a
scuffed.
shoddy
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
It's just like you need. We're going towards a crash in gaming because development times are so expensive now, and it's like games are like people hate them when they come out. It's gonna crash. This is gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, it's like all the franchises I was like properly invested in and obsessed with. They kind of had to exist then and there in the early 2000s. The Halo games, the Mass Effects, the Gears of War types, like the Half-Life. So like it had to be that era. It had to be there. It's constrained to that era.
So no, Half-Life Alyx is a good way to like follow up the Half-Life, because it's just like they had that idea and they let it fucking simmer for fucking years, and they come out as a revolutionary VR game, which nobody knew it was going to go that way, but because they didn't push it, it turned out to be great.
Yeah.
Companies.
Valve is impossible to compare to.
Yeah.
They will never just like shit something out.
Everything is just like this little idea. And it
well,
only
let's just hunt down the
viable.
Freeman. Hunt down the Freeman is what made Half-Life Alyx possible,
That's genuinely, that is actually a theory.
Really?
Yeah, because they saw it and they were like, shit.
Because they gave permission to them to use the
exactly.
ideas.
Yeah, so they saw.
Fuck off.
They released such a bad product. They're like, we gotta fix this,
they were
man.
like,
We gotta
shit,
fix it.
we need to actually prove that Half-Life is like a
something you should
franchise
care
of
about.
value.
Yeah.
So it's thanks to you that Half-Life Alyx exists. That's why they named it after you.
I really need to
True.
do Half-Life Alyx, man.
Yeah,
It is
Ross.
excellent.
Fuck, I need to do it.
It is excellent.
As a Half-Life fan, since I was like 14, it blew my mind.
I should just get a
But I'm
VR
not
and play
gonna
it.
jerk that game off anymore.
It is very good.
Hmm.
Let's end on this one then from Identity is Found. James, are you going to play Armored Core? Any mech games you like? I love you, James. James, I love you.
Armored Core. I had a brief experience of Armored Core as a child on PS2, PS1 era. So I was always a bit hyped to see, From Software in its current, fucking hitting out bangers, hitting fucking games out of the park.
When was the last time they missed?
Exactly.
Dark Souls 2.
That was a really proper Dark Souls game, was it though? It wasn't directed by Miyazaki.
Yeah, exactly.
But so it's like I saw, that those trailers come out, and I was just like, "Fuck!" This might be my entrance to the FromSoft. This might be the game I properly get into. And we started talking in the group chat. We were talking about it, and it was just like, I saw it come out the next day. I was just like, you know what, my PC might not run this, but I'm gonna fucking do it.
Who got it first?
Me.
Did you actually get it first?
I did.
James did, yeah.
And then because we talked about buying it, and then Jim was just like, I'm off on work in like 2 weeks' time. I'll buy it then and like sink in. And I was just like, I don't want to let him do that. I want to get in first. So I bought it, and then Jim instantly bought it. It fucking got me. It's fucking got me. The amount of times I've got angry at bosses, and it's just like, I'm turning this off. I'm going to bed. Tomorrow, I'm getting it. Yeah, I am in.
So that was me with Sekiro, man.
Yeah.
It's got all of the FromSoft things that I've like always found difficult to get into, but because it's in a nice little robotic mech package with
It's your
customization,
perfect package, yeah.
It's got me, and I've been angry at it, and I've been like, I don't know if I can do this game, but I've persevered and I've got through, and I found
That's
so much
that's what their games do, though, man. They
Yeah.
like get under your skin, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you win.
They almost taunt you,
Yeah.
and then you're like, no, fuck you.
Have you both done that boss then? That's like notoriously.
So you've
I
got
think so.
with it, there's two infamous bosses. There's basically the first boss on the first level, which I believe is like a
Ridiculously easy.
You've gone from the Souls games, Armored Core isn't Souls, shit's fucking hectic, and it's like trying to make you adapt to the hectic nature of Armored Core. Missile spam fucking constantly, lasers,
But
everything.
it's equivalent to the Asylum Demon from Dark Souls 1,
Right.
but just applied to that genre
Yeah,
of
mech,
game. Like
yeah.
if you know what you're doing, it's like, well, duh, this shit's easy.
Like,
But if you've got no idea, then it's actually quite challenging.
How does it translate in terms of like when you die, what do you lose?
Nothing.
you don't nothing. It just says go restart from checkpoint.
Okay.
It's the most forgiving because there's checkpoints, and if
level
you
based.
if you restart from the checkpoint, you can change your whole setup.
Yeah, to adapt.
If you're like, oh, this build just doesn't work for this
Yeah.
scenario, you
And
can
I
change
think
everything.
it's the people need to realize it's not Dark Souls. From Software got to the stage of making Dark Souls because of the success of Armored Core. They're not trying to make Dark Souls with mechs. They're trying to make a game that's true to their experience with Dark Souls, but with the Armored Core franchise. So there's a lot of Armored Core things that
It's not Miyazaki directed either.
No.
Is it not?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's not.
That would make sense.
But it has all of the things Dark Souls has, but it's like they've learned from those games and they've made like a sequel to Armored Core that is like taking everything they've learned over all of those games and putting it into this one Armored Core game.
They just don't make bad games so late.
No, but it's just like my PC's aged, you know, and From Software games, having played Elden Ring, they can be a bit weird on PC.
Yeah.
Like, sure,
This is the best running FromSoft game, I think, ever.
On PC.
Yeah.
It runs.
Yeah, by a long shot. For how good the game looks artistically, it outperforms every. It's probably because it's level by level, so they're not loading this giant area. But yeah, I have no complaints in that department.
Like, you know, I've been having a hell of a lot of fun with it. And I love the depth because it's all the shit that you've talked about from, you know, because you guys have talked about Dark Souls and Sekiro for years, and I'm always in on. I'm like third partying those conversations, you know. So now getting the shit you talk about, and be like, I get it because I've been playing it as Armored Core. It is quite liberating. It's like I finally understand, and I just love the, you know, the things I've been having difficulty with. You know, the main ones I've had difficulty with is mainly the Baltus, which is the second really difficult boss that people are talking about.
That's the one, right?
Yeah, and then there's later on the Sea Spider, and with Baltus it really was like, it took me like 4 days to get over. You know, getting home, just being like, I'm gonna get this one, and it was just like changing my setup and experimenting with what weapons to use and mech designs, which helped me overcome it. And it was just like, don't do the obvious thing of like jumping in the air trying to dodge. It was just like, be a bit more aggressive, using a bit of heavier weaponry, and that's what got me through. And then the Sea Spider, it was like, no matter what I change on my setup, I'm not fucking beating this thing. So it was like, I need to focus on movement. I need to change how I'm tactically approaching this boss, and that's how I got through it, by adjusting how I was fighting it. And that's all the Dark Souls stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly the like timeline for me when I got to, in Dark Souls 3, the Abyss Watchers.
I haven't got there yet because I'm playing Dark Souls 3 on the Steam Deck right now.
Yeah.
I haven't got nearly that far.
Did you get there the first time you tried?
I don't think I've ever got that far.
Yeah, that was the point, because the only Dark Souls games I'd played, because the only ones that were out were Dark Souls 1 and 2.
Yeah.
FromSoft has this way of like easing you into their games, and they have a point that's like,
it's tracking something of you. It's demanding something.
It's like
skill
saying,
check. Yeah.
It's saying like, we're doing this with this game. Do the things that you need to do to get through it.
Like Genichiro and Sekiro.
Yeah, Genichiro and Sekiro, the wolf guy in Bloodborne, the first like major boss.
And that's why I say when the first boss in Armored Core 6 is like it's trying to make you learn the way Armored Core is and like spam and loads of attacks, and it's like, if you seriously can't adapt to that boss, you're gonna have to refund the game. And it is spaced in a period where even if you have like 4 or 5 attempts, you can still refund the game with game time.
Yeah.
So it's like they're giving you that option that if you can't do this, you don't play this game. And it's like Baltus is like the next one up, where it's like, you've got to persevere and you've got to overcome this.
Yeah, learn the game.
Yeah, and I did by doing like a thing that wasn't, it's like the unobvious thing. But it's like the customization. I generally love all the characters. The story is actually like,
the story is awesome. The story is really the thing that's like,
really,
I want to know what's happening.
That surprises me.
It's got like influences of Dune there with the core. It's like,
yeah, it's not like engaging like a Last of Us, you know. It's not showing you.
It's like curiosity. You just want to know why everything,
and you want to know where it's taking you. And the way FromSoft like shows stuff, it's, you know, there's like, all the information is so informed by all this background stuff.
Is Vati Video doing his lore on it? Or?
I'm not sure yet.
I think
I'm
it's
not
going
sure
to
if
need
he
a
will.
bit more time.
Yeah.
But
I know certain Souls YouTubers.
Because that's the only thing putting it off for me is part of the appeal of a Bloodborne, of a Sekiro, is that enemy design, the environment design. Whereas like a lot of the gameplay I've seen from Armored Core is like, I don't know what I'm sifting through.
From how far I've got, I think the level design is like really good.
Yeah,
the
level design and the enemy design. There's like a lot of just like normal things.
Fodder.
Yeah,
like
there's
little
fodder
mech things.
But the same as like in Dark Souls, there's like the boring ass early stuff, and then as you get through it, it's like this shit I'm doing is crazy.
Yeah, the Sea Spiders one where it's
shit
just
I'm
like, holy
fighting.
shit, what the fuck's it doing?
Yeah, they get really creative with like the silhouettes and the designs of these enemies.
The designs are really, really cool. And there's I can't remember what the level is, but it's like, you know, in all the imagery, it's just like you're on the ground, but there's these like floating cities.
Yeah.
And it's the first time you kind of go in there, and it's all like this industrial, like kind of like plant in the sky. But it's like on one of these levels, on my replaying it, the amount of little tunnels you can go through and like areas where there's like battle logs, there's harder enemies. And you're discovering this when you've done the level. It's like there's a lot of replayability there, and it's the aesthetic and the design of everything that is like sucking me even more.
How does it work in terms of like part of what's fun in your Sekiros, in your Dark Souls, is like in an area when you're learning it, you can like find items that are scattered and stuff like this. Like
That's like a very minor part of the game.
There is chests, but I think the main thing is like once you've beaten it once, there's like battle logs, which is like harder enemies, possibly newer enemies that are now like dropped in when you replay it. So it's like you're now finding this boss and you're trying to take it out. And that's like another, like an additional.
Because just your level of motion is so much higher. You are like flying around.
It's not so much about that. It's more like spectacle, and something that we haven't touched on at all is like the. I've said to you before already. What keeps coming back to my head is the scarabs from Halo 3.
Yeah.
You know, these like giant things, and relatively early on in the game, there's
a mission where you got to basically take down like a scarab with a huge fucking laser weapon.
And you're like a giant robot, but this thing is like a giant
like you
robot.
spawn in a desert, and there's like a sandstorm, but in the distance you can see the silhouette of this fucking huge like machine.
Yeah.
And you get closer, and it's like there's some fucking energy coming from this thing, and there's fucking huge blue lasers like attacking you. And it's like, if it touches you, you're fucking dead. So you're like dodging, and you're trying to get behind like buildings and stuff.
And then you gotta climb the thing, and then like fight on it. And then later on in the game, you're fighting like Star Destroyers from Star Wars, but as a mech, and you're like shooting these things. And it's
just all about the scale.
Yeah,
it's the scale thing. And FromSoft games have never been like the best appearance-wise, but when you find yourself like immersed in this this shit that's happening, you're like, I'm fighting a spaceship as a big robot dude.
Yeah, with tank
it's
tracks.
so
and
goddamn badass.
That's cool. When you describe it like that, that is alluring.
Yeah, it's cool. Like there's one level I think is after the Sea Spider level, because the Sea Spider level is like you start at the start, but there's like orbital lasers, and you have to do like dodge around it and like find a path. And you get to the Sea Spider, and it's on a huge fucking cannon which they launch across a country, and it comes down. But it's like the actual environments, because the level after this is in a quarry, and it's all snowing, it's blizzardy, and you can't see the distance, and it's like there's something about that which adds like a tension, because it's like at any time there could be a boss. And when you get to this, you know, this ship comes along, there's like fucking 20 drones with fucking snipers on the ridge and shit. And in this level I was like trying to take out the drones, but it's like every time I try to like corner peek or whatever, a fucking huge laser is like, I'm getting like tense, and I'm trying to like not die, because if you fuck up and you don't dodge, you're dead.
Yeah.
And then you got to do it all
when
again.
you get that right sort of run, you feel like the most badass dude just ever.
And it's visually cool when you're like, you know, the other thing is like there is like our enemy ACs, enemy armored cores who have the same weaponry and the movesets. So when it's fighting one of them, it's like the only thing I can compare it to is like Ace versus Ace fights in Ace Combat, where it's like the two like characters are like going at it because they're the best. It gives me that, because they're dodging and they're shooting these, and it's like there's some I can't beat because my setup is like they're countering my setup. It's just like this tense thing where you're dodging and you're getting fucked, and it's like you find them in the levels where they are these aces, and it is just hyper. That's where that whole enjoyment is, and it's like the whole multiplayer aspect is like you're fighting another player in that mech, and there's so much enjoyment there.
And you've toyed with multiplayer, right?
Yeah, we have. Which is a whole other like addictive aspect of the game. Because
it's like there's 3 rounds, you 3 fights, and they can be really short, and you're just in this map and you've got to like work out how to beat them, and it is really fun because Jamie's like setup is really jumpy and like glides around, and I'm like a heavier like tank, so I'm like trying to find him, and then I'm just getting shot from fucking there's missiles going off, and I'm like, where the fuck is he? Yeah, and it's tense, and it just looks cool. Yeah, being in a robot with like
back and forth thing,
loads of missiles pods just going do or shooting. It just looks cool, and everyone should try it because you might not like it, but Armoured Core is like a
I think if it gels with you, it's gonna gel hard. If you're initially like just not into it, you're probably
because you guys you've got stronger opinions about this like Dunkey video, right?
I think he completely misrepresented the game in a way to make it to back up.
I felt like because I watched that video, I feel like I got what he was getting at. We was kind of saying,
I did.
It's not the same itch that's being scratched from the previous FromSoft games. It's something different.
But I think that comes from the case of he's not someone who grew up with Armoured Core. He wants Armoured Core to be Dark Souls, but Armoured Core's not Dark Souls. So why would you want it to be Dark Souls?
I think it's more from like Dark Souls is so like lauded as far as its design, as far as a lot of the things it does achieve.
I think he kind of undercuts how smart a lot of the design is.
Right.
That's my only issue with it, is like a lot of this has been really like thought through, and just in terms of like the rock paper scissors nature of it, it's like a tried and true system.
Because I don't know how it's really like settling as far as like FromSoft fans, Souls fans, Armoured Core fans.
I think it's going to need a bit more time.
Yeah.
And it's going to take all of this information is coming from 2 guys that have not finished the game by any means.
I'm
only
still
a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're
like
both in chapter 2.
Yeah,
and
I've just been going back and having a lot of fun with earlier, and I've seen some future bosses, and it's just like I'm looking at this shit, and this shit just fucking looks like Melania to me, you know? It looks like that kind of hectic.
It's exciting.
Yeah, and it's just like there is criticisms that people are saying that if you build a setup X way, you can basically get through the whole game really easily. And I will say every Dark Souls game is like that because you can basically there's a way to cheese everything. And if you willingly choose to cheese and you find it easy, that's not the game's fault. You've just wanted to cheese it.
But that's also a valid way of getting through it.
Yeah.
But like it also like with the way FromSoft has been going, it's like pick up the pace, get faster and faster and faster, and then it's like, well, how much faster can you get? And this is it. You know, you reduce the difficulty a bit, but you just increase that velocity, so you're just always just going.
It seems like quite a good game to release after Elden Ring in terms of like, it's not about like a big map. It's level by level. The gameplay pretty much could not be more different. The setup is so different.
I think it's I'm not sure if you've seen what Bandai Namco have said, but I think it's genius because they said like from FromSoft's name, they can make this a franchise for the future. They can like make this sort of bed of fans.
Yeah, because they said like it's not going to sell as well as Elden Ring.
They know that,
but they'll be able to make new fans by releasing it.
Yeah,
which is great because it's like this is introducing
new.
We've got to be.
Like they've made a fan out of me.
Yeah, I mean, and we've got to realise mech games never hit in the West, and they never have. Yeah. This might be the first one that creates like a devout mech game fan base in the West, and that's a big thing because mechs are cool. The West hates mechs, you know, but if this could be the start of like a mech resurgence in the West, and mechs are cool.
Yeah,
no matter
curious
what way
how
you
it's
look at
selling. It's probably quite well.
I'm pretty sure it's been doing really well.
And I've been going back and we're playing some of the earlier levels because it's like, I beat the sea spider and it took me a few tries. So I'm now like going into those next levels and it's just like, this isn't as difficult, but I know it's like that next big boss is going to test me.
It's constantly building.
It's got the Sonic S rank thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can try and S rank each level.
So now I'm getting almost anxious of like, how much is this one going to fuck me? So I'm going back so I can buy all the weaponry so that when I get that boss I can be like sit there and be like, what am I gonna have to change? Instead of having to go exit the level, we get more money. It's like I'm trying to just grind a bit early on just to be able to experiment even more when I do get stuck, because then I'm like really thinking about it. But at the same time, doing these levels, there's so many little hidden things that I'm getting these S ranks because I'm like finding little really fast ways to do it, and I generally having an
I'm glad you finally got the FromSoft bug.
Yeah, and it's like now I'm like picturing, I think I can do every other Dark Souls games, because if I'm looking at my dark guy, that's not a guy, that's a mech. Everything's a mech, and I can be like, okay, I can make this work.
Yeah.
But it is very cool, and I like that they're like, at the moment they're teasing like a certain character to be like your rival ace.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he almost knows what you are, so it's like they're teasing it, and you've like allied with him once. And it's like they're teasing like a good fight between them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I've seen some of the later levels where there's multiple enemy factions fighting each other while you're fighting. It's like it seems to actually like fucking pop off.
Yeah.
And then there's a mech. This Millennia boss looks exactly like a mech from my favorite Gundam anime.
Mm-hmm.
He's got these little like balls that are like independent weapons and shit, and it's like, holy fuck, that looks cool as fuck. So I'm really, really hyped, but at the same time I'm like, that's gonna fuck me. I know that's gonna be really difficult.
Yeah,
so
intimidating. That's part of it though.
Yeah.
You got to feel that fear.
I know, I've got it, but at the same time it's like I want to get through it. But yeah, it's...
Yeah, I'm glad you can finally experience that for real.
And it's for a AAA game that's just come out. It was like £50 at launch.
Because like it really... I don't know, it didn't have much of a marketing campaign. There wasn't like loads of hype
It did
and
have
stuff.
It's got Carl Urban
in a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I don't think FromSoft need it.
And that's the thing. FromSoft is a quality name, so everyone can be like, this game's gonna hit, and it's gonna be good.
I think people underestimate Vati Video as well. Like he's made like 3 videos on the game.
Millions of views.
There you go. This is like 300 million views. The dude's huge, man.
It's cool.
gonna say the soundtrack fucking rocks. You boot up into that title screen, and the mech's like pulling a big like fucking pillar drive out of a robot, and it's just like this fucking music, man. It's
cool, is it? Because that honestly, the soundtrack is why I bought Starfield. If I'm being real.
Really?
Because I was watching a few streams of it, and the music was excellent from what I was hearing, and it is very good.
Yeah,
when it like actually plays.
Not FromSoft, Bethesda are good at soundtracks for the most part. They are.
Yeah.
But FromSoft are as well.
Yeah.
It'll be a very different pace to Starfield, but some of the music is like this.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how to explain the style, but it's almost
what is
like
the genre? What's the music genre?
It's like orchestral kind of.
It's also trancey.
Yeah, what's the sound you hear? Like electronic sounds.
Yeah.
Orchestral sounds.
But it's like
this high like BPM.
Yeah.
Just
but
intensity.
It's almost like the title screen like song is almost a little bit depressing. It's like somber.
I think all the sound effects though, like I can feel in 10 years having nostalgia for this game. Like the sound effects before someone talks to you in the comms. That sort of thing is like it just cements itself.
Do you have the audio tracks on Japanese vocals?
No.
Really,
it feels like with FromSoft, it's like their English stuff is good. So it's
but I tend to just leave it because if it's Sekiro, it's default on Japanese.
Oh, is that the default
vocals.
Sekiro?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So with subtitles, because in Japan the default is English vocals for Dark Souls, but Japanese subtitles.
Being it's a Japanese,
right?
Yeah, and then it's the inverse for us because with Sekiro. Because it's based in Japan.
Yeah.
They like
I suppose Dark
it.
Souls is set in like European kind of...
Yeah. And I guess with the whole mech thing in like the greater world with corporations and whatnot, it does make sense how it's like English might be the language
Yeah,
and whatnot.
and the English, like all the voice performances sound pretty good.
Yeah, and it's almost like I know there's more that might be revealed in the story, but that now it's just like it's almost like I'm getting that horrible feeling of just like, yeah, this is like a critique of war because you're killing these mechs and they're people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obvious things I didn't get with Ace Combat, even though I'm shooting down fucking countless planes.
Yeah.
But it's just like
Yeah,
reading like battle logs that you can find in the levels. It's just like
It feels as though the more you think about like the world that you're playing in, the more like depth there is to it. You know, if you actually contextualize in your head what's going on, suddenly it's like, whoa, the shit just gets deeper and deeper.
yeah, and that is a thing of the mech genre. Like, there's a few Gundam series that has like prioritized that and whatnot, and it's just like I'm glad they're delving into that because it is like a, you know, the way the story's going at the moment with the planet basically being exploited by the companies, the corporations, and you've got the rebellion faction, then you've got this other faction going on. It's really trying to go in on there. So I'm like really
honestly
excited,
after your guys' discussion, and I'm more excited about it than I thought.
All I would say is buy it, do that first level, and if you get enjoyment through that and you get past the first boss, you can make a choice of I can play this more. Because it is just kind of silly fun. Jumping around as a fucking tank and shit.
No, that's what's so awesome about like the story is that like you can take it as surface level as you want, or you can really get like invested. You know.
Yeah, the customization does look very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Just experiment with new guns and whatnot. And it's like I found weapons that are like terrible for bosses, but I can like speed run everything else and get to the boss, and it's like, I fucking love mechs, man. I fucking love mechs.
Yeah, and it's one of those games where like I've been at work and stuff for days not being able to play it, and it's like my head is just thinking like,
what build am I going to use?
yeah,
How
what
am
am
I
I
going to
doing
do
next?
Yeah,
like I've done these levels. Which ones do I want to replay? Like,
and like if someone's played Armoured Core and they've got that mech itch, there's so much fucking good mech stuff outside of Neon Genesis Evangelion. There's a lot of really good mech stuff out there that you can now like experience. Just opening the doors to like so many good shows and movies about mechs.
Yeah.
And it's just like that I appreciate mechs like nothing else. Mechs are the coolest shit, you know. So I hope this does like invigorate that new love in some people who haven't otherwise experienced it.
yeah,
I'll talk about mechs all day, man. All day.
I'm glad it's landed because I wasn't sure like how it was going to settle.
yeah. No, honestly, because we met for coffee this morning.
That's what we talked
all
about
of
all
us.
morning.
Before you arrived for like
Hour
and a half, we were just talking about Armoured Core. Like we could talk about this shit for like 5 more hours. You know?
And it's like I want to go
I
home.
like that.
And it's
that
like
passion, yeah.
I know I've got to do things tonight, but part of me is like I could do an Armoured Core level. So I'm like trying.
That's how
to
they get you, man. That's how they get you.
No, but I like that with it being like a menu select. It's not like, as someone who hasn't done a Dark Souls, it's like it was always overwhelming that I couldn't really dip out of it because I'd lose the context of what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you've got to sink in and get that fucking done. Get that first playthrough, and then you can like dip more in on second playthroughs. But with Armoured Core, it's just like it's
Little
level
bite
select.
size.
Yeah, so you can just
Bite-sized chunks.
jump in. And apparently, the New Game Plus and New Game Plus adds a whole more story beats, loads of more
New
characters,
levels,
bosses.
It just keeps going.
and branching story paths as well.
But that's even a thing I find with like going way back to Dark Souls 3. Like I've got no history with that game. If I come up across a boss that I can't beat, it becomes this like, well, I can't settle until I beat this guy.
Yeah, that's what's got me.
I got to keep trying it then until I do it, and you keep getting closer and closer, and like you can't submit until you've done it.
Yeah, it's that's what I had with the Baltus fight, because in our group chat there's so messy me like, I can't do this, guys. I can't do it, man.
Bullshit, fuck this. Yeah.
And it's like I'd go to bed angry. I'd be laying in bed at like 1 in the morning, like I'm angry, man.
I had that with Sekiro bosses.
And then it's like I wake up and it's all I think about, and then I go home and I spend like 2 hours trying it, and it fucks me again, and it's the next. It's like the frustration builds even more. But when I get home on that day and I like chill out and I'm like, I can do this, and then I do it. And
when
it's
you
just like,
the dopamine reward you get from doing that
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Nothing
those.
else
It's like
matches
those
it.
moments where it's like you get your control and you're about to like smash it out of like
Yeah.
excitement. You're like, yes.
Yeah, you fucking
It's-
did it.
Like that's got like me having that experience should probably tell you that it has like that darkcore DNA in there. Like I would seriously just try out that the intro because it does throw like a lot of what Armoured Core is at you, and then you can
Well, I'm
experience.
glad you guys are enjoying it.
Yeah,
I'll
buy
probably
it.
pick it up
Buy
on
it.
a
Buy
sale.
And it's cheap. It's not a £60 game at launch.
Yeah,
We're in the-
true, yeah.
And that is
And
actually
also,
really
you
good
don't
thing.
have to buy every skin in the game. They just come like packaged in.
Does it have a best edition?
No, yeah,
There's
it
not-
does.
It does,
But it's like the soundtrack.
it's the art book or something,
Uh-huh.
and yeah.
It's not a digital
there's,
like.
dude, there's not even a battle pass. Like,
You for real?
Yeah.
There's no skin packs. There's gonna be a skin pack that's like Evangelion crossover event, and I'll be buying that shit.
Yeah.
I like that there's like people making like thigh highs for the robot in the vinyl creator and shit. Like people are getting creative with like the decal systems, and there's gonna be some really ridiculous like.
Yeah,
suits.
give it a few months. Those mods are
Yeah,
going to be mental.
it'll be
Yeah.
How long
Black
before there's like
one.
a F-35 fucking fighter jet mod?
that'll
So you
be
just fly
everything.
around the map.
I'm pretty sure the day it released, someone had made a CJ
Yeah.
from San Andreas. Mod.
For a Mac.
Yes, it's just a giant
They've made
CJ.
like a mod to have CJ. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like I will probably keep an eye on it. It's the same way I do with like replaying Ace Combat is a bit shit. Like I've always tried to redo a playthrough, but it's been difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like hyped to see what like because I imagine it's gonna be a DLC for it because they tend to do like one DLC and that's it.
Well, I can't believe this came out before the Elden Ring.
Yeah,
DLC.
there's supposed to be an Elden Ring one, eh?
Well, there's going to be.
Yeah.
one. They
Yeah,
released,
I forgot about
intro
it.
and shit. Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what they might do in the future.
Yeah.
And they might,
I think it almost guarantees a sequel.
yeah.
You know,
Well, they
it's gonna
confirmed that
happen.
this is going to make new fans, so I think there will be
Yeah.
another one.
And I'll be there for it.
Yeah,
That's all I can say. And I'm only on chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love Max Run.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But I was chatting shit about Max.
Jamie was literally
I thought
saying.
Max were lame as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. And then I start playing this game and I'm like, shit, this
One of
cool.
missile pods and
It's
shit.
cool AF. And then I bought the game. I played the game. Mechs are awesome.
Mechs can be cool. They just can be really cringe. It's like when they're really cartoony. It's just like, no, I need like some more
Yeah.
realistic mechanical. mechs.
Matrix
it-
Revolutions.
And then someone was like, you love Titanfall, right? And I was like, oh,
That is
Yeah.
Mac, yeah.
yeah, that is Mech.
No, that was me. Because I was
Yeah.
just you were saying
I
about
was
it,
chatting shit about Mechs, and you were like, you love Titanfall.
and you were like, no, they're like cool Western mechs. I'm like, nah, bro, they're good fucking Japanese mechs,
Yeah.
man. And it's like they have
Yeah.
swords and shit. The melee weapons are really fucking fun
Yeah.
to use.
They are. I hope Respawn capitalizes on this new mech like invigoration. Titanfall 3.
Yeah.
The Avatar 3 tie-in game.
And the fun thing, another thing is when your weapon runs out of ammo, you just don't have it, so you've got fists. So you go one around and literally just bang. Yeah, like fighting, fucking punching mechs.
Just punch them.
I found it funny because I went into one of these levels and I accidentally unequipped like my sword. So I was like flying on this level and I was like gonna do the lunge. It's just like my mech just fucking went up and punched the off a fucking ledge. And it's just like, bruh.
So, yeah, it's so sick.
It's yeah, it's good.
Damn.
It's like dodging like missile attacks against you and laser attacks as you're like shooting missiles at them and you're going in for like a punch and you're like blasting with a shotgun and shit. It's so good. Okay, thank you for watching.
Yeah. I hope you enjoy Armoured Core out there. See you
Yeah.
on the next episode.
You better do, because that was like an hour of conversation. Just that.
Yeah.